Hey guys, what's going on? It's MajiinBae. Welcome back to the channel. I feel bad that this one's taken me a little bit to get out, but I just got back from U.S. Nationals, and I was kind of unwinding, and I talked a little bit about it on stream, but I wanted to make a more dedicated YouTube video about the new set that we know is coming out after Mistveil for Flesh and Blood, Rosetta. Now, this set is important for a couple of reasons. One, we're going back to Aria, which is my favorite location that we've been to so far in Flesh and Blood. Aria was Tales of Aria was the set that came out when I started playing the game, so I already really like the location. And then even more important, this set sees the return of Runeblade, a fan favorite class, and my second favorite class, and also my first favorite class, Wizard. I've been waiting for a new Wizard for a while. Ever since Icelander Living Legend, I've just been I've only played Kano, basically. I don't think I've registered anything but Kano at any event, at any serious level event since Icelander Living Legend. And while I love Kano, I missed the more less all-in game plan that Icelander gave us, but I still want to play Wizard, and that's not really possible after she left. So I could not. I literally can't even explain to you how excited I was to see the spoiler. I was mid battle hardened round, battling it out, still live for top 8 with 2 rounds to go. Right, second to last round, and someone came up to me and said, "Hey, Majid, have you seen the new spoilers?" And I was like, "No, there's new spoilers for what?" And they go, "The new set. There's 2 wizards in the new set." And I looked him in the eyes and I called him a liar. I was like, there's absolutely no way there's 2 wizards in the next set. You are pulling my leg. But there is. Elemental is back. We have the earth element over here and the lightning element over here. 1 Runeblade, 1 wizard, 1 Runeblade, 1 wizard. Really exciting stuff. We've seen Elemental be the dominant talent. Absolutely insane. All 4 elemental heroes actually are Oldhim, Lexi, Briar, Starvo, Icelander. Why did I do this? 5 elemental heroes have all living legended. It is by far the most powerful talent we've ever seen, and it's back. We have it split though. It used to have a fusion of the talent where you get to play Earth and Lightning if you're playing Briar, or Ice, Lightning if you're Lexi, right? But now we have it split. Just Earth, just Lightning, no Ice anywhere to be seen for this set. And I'm honestly really looking forward to that. I know it's weird to go back to Aria and not have Ice, especially with Elemental, but we're going to get into it a little bit. But I'm actually more excited for Earth than anything else. This video is not structured in any way. I'm just going to be rambling about the new stuff, talking about kind of what you can expect to see from each of these heroes. So if you're newer to Flesh and Blood and you're like, oh, wow, that's cool, we have an Earth Runeblade. The hell does that mean? I hope I can shed a little bit of light and kind of show you a little bit of what to expect. What kind of game plan, game style might we see from something like an Earth Runeblade or a Lightning Wizard, right? So to start it off, let's talk Earth, right? And let's talk Florian. So Earth is an element that tends to be a little bit more, I would say, sturdy, big, strong. It is exactly what you expect Earth to be. The cards tend to block better. They attack for big numbers. And they're not as on-hit heavy as something like Lightning. And when they do on-hit, they either weaken your opponent, or I imagine we'll see some stuff like some life gain and maybe a little bit more debilitating type playstyle. But basically, Earth equals big is, if I had to sum it up. It's big. It tends to be pretty solid defensively. It doesn't use a lot of go again. It tends to want to do 1 large thing rather than 3 smaller things. And there's a lot of indication that we're going to see quite a bit of life gain this set. So if we look at Florian's text, we know, by the way, that Florian's text is not going to be adult Florian's text. I believe that was said in an interview. If I'm wrong, I'm so sorry. But I imagine it will be something similar to this, just a little bit different. So Florian says, if there are 4 or more Earth cards in your banish zone, Florian gets if you would create 1 or more Aura tokens, instead create that many +1 of each of those tokens. If you've played back in Aria or you've seen Briar, you already know the Aura tokens that you should be thinking of. They're Embodiment of Earth and Runechant. Now, Runechant's easy. Basically, it's just an aura that says next time you throw an attack, for each rune chant pops and they deal 1 arcane damage each, giving you a split damage effect. Your opponent has to block the damage from your attack with normal blocking, and they have to block the damage from your arcane damage by pitching, making it very difficult to defend a rune blade. That's why they're so strong, right? And Embodiment of Earth was something that was actually so busted when it came out because of how Briar worked. She got errated, it was fixed. But basically, Embodiment of Earth, when you can get them, your non-attack action cards get +1 while defending for 1 turn. It blows up at the beginning of your next action phase. So Florian, if you make an Embodiment of Earth token, instead you get 2, which means if you have a, an Earth Runeblade action, non-attack action, that blocks for 3, it doesn't block for 3. It blocks for 5. Your 1 card blocks for 5. And that is very powerful, right? You have a card that says, give your next attack +3, and make a rune chant or something. Instead, you make 2 rune chants. You're just getting more value. I expect to see a bit of a cycle of life thing from Florian and just from Earth in general. We've seen things from Earth like Rites of Replenishment, So Tomorrow, where it's about the regrowth aspect of Earth, where things tend to be more like spring, summer aligned. And now with Florian, we see fall, where I still expect to see like a little bit of that like regrowth aspect. Maybe some things move from the Banished Zone back into your deck. Maybe we see some more cards like So Tomorrow. I'm not really sure, where you have to balance your like amount of Earth cards in your graveyard and Banished Zone as like an additional resource. I'm not really sure. But because of the like fall/autumn aspect of Florian and a lot of just the theme of the set, I would expect to see a lot of things of moving Earth into Banished Zone. And we'll see that a bit later with Felling of the Crown. But basically, Florian's going to deal with tokens. There's going to be at least a little bit of tokens. I expect the big ones to be Embodiment of Earth and Rune Chant. Not sure if there's going to be others, maybe 1 or 2. But just based on these, what I'm seeing is that Florian is going to be a more defensively minded rune blade. Not super surprising coming from Earth, right? Like I mentioned, it defends well, and now we know that Florian works with Embodiment of Earth, mostly because of this card. Might be my favorite Flesh and Blood art, period, is this card, honestly. I love the colors. I think it works really well. I don't know, something about it. I just love this card. Germinate is a blue block 3 XX card, Earth Runeblade action, Florian specialization. And it says, create a rune chant or Embodiment of Earth token. Repeat this process X more times, gain X +1. Okay, so how this works. You can declare 0 and pay nothing. What happens? Well, if you don't pay into it at all, you get a rune chant or an Embodiment of Earth. You get to pick one. And then you also gain 1 life. You repeat the process 0 more times, right? So that's it. However, if Florian is active, if we have 4 more Earth cards in our Banished Zone, we are going to get an additional rune chant or Embodiment of Earth token, whichever one we choose. So looking back on what I talked about with Embodiment of Earth before and Florian, is if this is for 0, basically we gain 1 life, and then if we pick Embodiment of Earth, on the next turn, all our non-attack actions will block for 2 more, which is pretty incredible value. Otherwise, we could take the rune chant action and have 2 points of value via rune chant, which would make this a 0 cost, 3 value. It's a head jab. If you cast this card for 0, it's a blue head jab that blocks 3. That's a non-attack action to help turn on Runeblade synergy stuff. Absolutely incredible card. And that's the floor. That's where it starts. Let's say that you have Tunic up, right? And a blue in your hand. So you decide to germinate and you pay 4 resources into it. X equals 2. What do we have then? Let's look at the rune chant option, right? We decide to create a rune chant. So we create 1 rune chant, but actually it's 2 because of Florian. And then we repeat it 2 more times, creating 4 more rune chants, right? So we have 6 rune chants. And then we gain 3 life. That is 6 plus 3, 9. We get 9 points of value out of our 2 card plus Tunic hand. Not too shabby. You could also mix them up. Do you want some Embodiment of Earth and some rune chant? You can do that. You can mix them up. I believe that's how that works. It's a really cool card. But what I'm mostly getting at here is that I think this kind of showcases that not only is Florian going to deal with tokens, which we obviously saw from the hero ability, but that Florian is going to continue in the theme of Earth being a little bit more defensive. We could see a like stacking rune chant style as well, but I think they'll kind of leave that to Viserai or Vincent. I think that's probably not where Florian's going to go. The other thing that gives us a little bit of a key in on what's going to happen here is Felling of the Crown, which is just the single best Wounded Bull I've ever seen in my entire life. Earth action, 3 cost, 4 attack, 3 defense. Not a great rate. However, if there are 4 more Earth cards in your Banish zone, you might have noticed that condition from here. This gets +4, which would make this a 2-card 8 that blocks 3. Incredible rate. That's Wounded Bull numbers and Wounded Bull broker format. So, just saying. And it has a new keyword, Decompose. When this attacks, you may banish 2 Earth cards and an action card from your graveyard. If you do, each hero puts a card from their hand on the bottom of their deck. Let's talk about Decompose for a second before we get into how nuts that ability is. We know that we need to get Earth cards into our banish zone, and that's not actually as easy as it just initially seems, right? But cards that have this Decompose keyword that we can assume will be on other cards because they made it a fucking keyword, will help us get there. This card alone, if you banish 2 Earth cards and then an Earth action card, it doesn't say that it can't be an Earth card, you're 3/4 of the way there to having this turned on, right? If you do both of these effects, if you fulfill this condition and you have this effect, this card attacks for 8, and then assuming you're not dumb enough to keep a card in your hand, forces your opponent to put one of their cards on the bottom of their deck. So you attack for 8, and then they have to discard a card, basically. Which makes this a 2-card, let's say 11, right? If we just give all cards an arbitrary value of 3, which is the blocking number, this would be a 2-card 11, absolutely fucking bonkers rate. Now, I was reading this card, and I was like, man, this card is so cool. I wish I could play, like, I might have to play Earth Runeblade just because of how strong this card is. And then I realized it's not an Earth Runeblade attack. It's just an Earth attack. So we could possibly play it in our next hero that we're going to talk about, Verdance. I saw Verdance and immediately tweeted about it. This is the hero that I believe I'm going to play. Now, notice we have no text box. We do not know what the wizards do until Pro Tour Amsterdam. They won't tell us. However, we can make some assumptions. Now, if we look at the previous wizards, right, they like Kano, he's just blasting. Icelander was less about raw arcane damage and not at all about the multiplicative damage like Kano. And I expect all wizards in the future to follow in those footsteps. I expect that LSS really wants to move away from a Stormstrider's Aether Wildfire centric plan. I don't think that's where they want that to go. I think they want that to stay with Kano and maybe Kano's replacement whenever he LLs, right? What I expect from Verdance is to see something a little bit more similar to Icelander, at least initially when we didn't see any of the other cards. I expected to see high value attacks, maybe that we have to play generics or something, and then bigger spells. Perhaps they bring back Fuse, right? Like we saw with Aether Icevein and stuff. However, her specialization card throws me a bit for a loop. We all have our theories, and I'm going to share mine. But her specialization card, this is one of 2 things, or one of 3 things she can play that we know of, is Heartbeat of Candlehold. 1 mana, blue, block 3, Earth Wizard action. This is the only wizard action that we see in spoilers so far. It says gain 1, gain 1, gain 1, go again. Now, this is a bad rate for a card. Granted, it's a blue and it's a block 3, so it gets a pass. But 1 card gain 3 is the current rate with Sigil of Solace, and you don't really want to play that in every single deck. This is the same thing, except it costs 1 resource. But the fact that it's split into separate instances of gain 1 is a huge clue on what Verdance is actually doing. They wouldn't word it like that unless it was actually relevant that it's split up into multiples. Now let's take a break and we'll loop back to this, and let's take a look at Channel the Millennium Tree. I'm gonna bring it all back together in a second, right? Channel the Millennium Tree is Channel Mount Heroic for wizards. It's Channel Amp Heroic is what I called it. 3 mana, go again, block 3, red, earth action, aura. When this enters the arena and at the beginning of your action phase, amp 3. So unlike Channel Mount Heroic, it does not continuously buff every single spell, which would be super busted, right? It has the Channel Earth like ability where you have to feed it its upkeep every single round of Earth cards that are in your pitch zone, starting with 1 and then 2, right? And then so on and so forth. This, I think, is going to encapsulate about half of the Earth Wizards playstyle. Not the actual card, but kind of what it represents. Amp was made a keyword with, actually, this card, Kindle. Was the first printing of the keyword amp, which basically just reads the next thing that deals arcane damage instead does 1. It's the first card, Kindle, that we've seen printed that pumps wizard staff damage. Wish we had Kraken's Aether Vein, because then I could be kindling that, and that would be so sick. It pumps rune chant damage. Any source of arcane damage, the first time, it gets pumped, right? Channel the Millennium Tree is amp 3, which is not a great rate if you only do it once, and just an okay rate if you only do it twice. However, a lot of spells have pretty important like effects if they hit. I'm looking at Channel Ice Vein, right? Aether Quickening, things like where if it hits for a certain amount, Surge, you get Go again, or you get a Ponder token, or Mind Warp makes your opponent shuffle their whole hand in and lose a card. Like really, really strong effects. And it's such an incredible like closing effect because people can only block so much arcane, right? If they only brought Arcane Barrier 3 and you send Voltic Bolt with Channel the Millennium Tree dealing 8, they could only block 3. And if they're at 4, that sucks. It doesn't matter how big their hand is, they just die, right? So with Channel the Millennium Tree being one of the chosen cards to spoil and Heartbeat of Candlehold, my guess for Verdance's hero text or an important piece of equipment, right, is going to be something along the lines of, when you gain life, amp 1. That's my guess. So that you get the like life gainy things, and then you get paid off by boosting up your spells. Because Earth likes to go big, not wide, right? They want to do one big thing, even if it costs them multiple cards and lots of resources. Big, dumb attack, go herder, right? I am really looking forward to this playstyle. Now, we don't know that that's true. This could be just like a red herring. It could be absolutely nothing. Her hero text could be if you gain a life instead, gain 1 more. Like, I don't know. We really don't know. It's all just speculation, but it's fun speculation. We're looking forward to this playstyle. Like I said, Verdance is the hero that I'm looking to play the most. I just want to play a slower wizard. I want to play a wizard that gets to play a little bit more flesh and blood. You know what I mean? Not that Kano's not the best, because he is the best. But sometimes I don't want my games to be done in 7 minutes. I want to play a full game of flesh and blood with a lot of decisions being made by both players. And I feel like I haven't had that in the wizard class since Icelander rotated. So I am just so excited. So excited for Verdance. Plus she gets to play Felling of the Crown, which is bonkers. Imagine giving this effect to Kano. Oh yeah, here you go, Kano. Here's a block 3 that attacks for 8 and makes your opponent tuck a card. Oh, also, it's not a miss on Kano. Other wizards don't have to worry about that, right? Just absolutely insane. I'm so excited. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about Lightning and Aurora. So we've also seen some Lightning in the game before. And Lightning is the go wide offense element of the, 3 that we've seen? We've seen cards like Ball Lightning, Lightning Surge, all sorts of stuff that tends to be cheap, efficient, prioritizes go again and action points, and then tends to attack at awkward breakpoints and have solid damage dealing on hits. That kind of seems to be Lightning's whole shtick, right? Now, Aurora's effect says once per turn instant 2 mana, create an Embodiment of Lightning token. Activate this only if you played a Lightning card this turn. Embodiment of Lightning is when you play an attack action card, destroy this and the attack gains go again. Incredibly powerful thing that Briar could get access to. What I expect to see from Aurora is basically the pre-errata Briar deck. Something closer to the red line Briar deck, where you had like a bunch of smaller, really efficient attacks. You don't ever really want to block. And you're just like, go again thing. Not like not Channel Mount Heroic Briar. I'm talking like Ball Lightning, Red Electrify, bunch of 0 blocks Briar. That's what I expect to see from Aurora. We don't have a ton to look out for her. Like, the only card we have is Channel Lightning Value, which I'm so excited about. Actually, this card's so cool. 0 mana, yellow, instant aura that has a channel effect. The first time you deal damage to an opposing hero each turn, draw a card. That should raise some eyebrows. Drawing a card is incredibly powerful in every single card game, but it's instant speed. So you could throw your Lightning Surge for 4 from Arsenal with Go Again. Your opponent only blocks 3. Bam, you throw in Channel Lightning Valley. You get to draw yourself a card. You can flash this in on your opponent's turn, and if you can deal damage then with maybe the Rune Blade defense reaction that pings your opponent for 1, boom, you get to draw a card, right? It does have the Channel Lightning effect where you have to put flow counters on it. Currently, Lightning is like the weakest of the elements, but I expected to see a surge in power with this set coming out. I don't have a ton to say about Aurora because we don't have like we don't really have anything to go off of here. Again, there's no super standout Lightning cards right now. So I'm just going to leave it there, and we're going to talk a little bit about Auxilio. Auxilio, the elemental wizard hero for the Essence of Lightning. Lightning Wizard. Again, we don't know what he actually does, but we can make some assumptions. I expect Auxilio to be more of a wizard the way people think of wizards now with Kano, more offensively focused and more geared to playing on both turns. And the thing that makes me think that is mostly Channel Lightning Valley, right? If you have Channel Lightning Valley and then you play a spell on your turn and you draw a card, and then on your opponent's turn, you do something else and you activate your Waning Moon and it deals damage and you draw a card, it's just so nuts. It's just such good value. The other thing that I actually don't have pulled up, and that is my bad, is Channel Thunderstep. So Channel Thunderstep was a big, like, nothing burger, basically. This is it. Sorry that I have to just pull up, like, raw Google. But Channel Thunderstep was not very good in, I'm going to get a better one. In Aria when it came out. It was, like, pretty neat, and some people tried some stuff, and that was about it. It didn't really go anywhere else. Sorry if you can't read the text. It's right here. Basically, it says, whenever you play an action card, you may pay 1 resource. And if you do, it gains Go Again. Any action card. Now, this costs 1. It blocks 3, and it's a yellow. It's a yellow. That's not the best. But it blocks 3, and that's cool. And it has the Channel Lightning effect where you have to put the pitch cards on the bottom of your deck. Now, I know a lot of you don't play Wizard. I know the majority of Flesh and Blood players don't play Wizard. And this is going to sound really weird, but Wizard's biggest gate, the thing that, like, the Wizard's biggest, like, choke point that keeps them from just absolutely blowing everybody up all the time is actually action points. Wizard's problem is that it has to manufacture action points. Not a single Wizard card in the game that I know of has Go Again. But we got a lot of stuff we wish had Go Again. We have a lot of things that have multiplicative damage, where if it deals, think Aether Flare, right? If you cast Aether Flare, that's pretty cool, and you have to Kano off the top and hit something else. Other wizards don't have the Kano off the top. However, if Aether Flare had Go Again, all of a sudden you got to be really scared. Because if they Aether Flare you with Go Again, and you don't block it, you can bet your ass they got another spell coming right after it, right? And Channel Thunderstep lets you do that kind of thing. For a price, right? For a price. But we can get a lot of resources with this. Because Wizards got a lot of tomes. We got Tome of Aetherwind, red, 0 cost, draw 2. We got Tome of Fiendal, 1 cost, draw 2, right? And if I'm running Auxilio and I want to do dumb stuff, I really want to run Channel Thunderstep plus all the tomes, right? Like, that sounds so nuts. I expect Auxilio to do a lot of action point shenanigans. I expect him to be the more instant speed one. And then you can also mix in the good, efficient on hits. I feel like they're going to want Wizard to be in a more, like, hybrid-y state. More Bulllander than raw Kano, right? For the future of Flesh and Blood, at least for now. And I expect Auxilio to be pretty good at it. If you can just send lightning surges and scar for scars and snatches or whatever, and you can give them go again with channel thunderstep or other lightning type effects, that is incredibly powerful. Incredibly powerful. And that's basically what I expect to see. That's pretty much it. We have we know that the premiere is coming up in September, like September 6th in Florida. I'm going to try to be there. It's looking a little tough for travel arrangements for me just because of like timing and stuff. But I really, really want to go. I literally can't explain how excited I am for this set. LSS, if you're watching this, if anyone from LSS is watching this, you guys have given me spoiler cards before. My tweets get likes, right? Please give me another one. please give me a wizard spoiler card, and I'll do anything you want, man. I'll upload Flesh and Blood videos all the time. Just come on, guys. I really want to spoil something for this set. Wizard Arya, this is my set, man. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. The only thing I'm upset about is that they spoiled it now, because now I don't care about Mistveil. I was going to build Enigma and play her for a bit, and then they're like, oh, wait, there's wizards, and I just immediately stopped picking up Enigma cards. I was like, I'll play Kano for a couple months, and then I'll switch to Earth Wizard, or maybe I'll even play Florian. These are my two favorite classes in the entire game, and we're getting 4 new heroes for it. I can't wait. I hope you guys are excited too. Let me know what your theories are for the wizard abilities, because I'm really interested to see what they are. I literally don't know what Auxilio is going to be. Maybe some form of like stacking ability where you get some charge and then you let it go. Most lightning things seem to have to do with manipulating action points and go again. So maybe it's something that allows him to do that. I really don't know. You let me know what you guys think, please, in the comments. Thank you guys so much for coming. Sorry it was just a rambling mess, but I had fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed too. See you next time.